Hello, fellow comic book worms and fellow Conan lovers. I don't know how you introduce yourself, Gary, but
Good evening, guys. How's everyone doing?
I have a very special guest today. Otaku will be here, I'm sure, pretty soon. Let me go ahead and message Otaku so that he knows this. Let me remind them. I never had so many people waiting in line like this in the chat because Gary's here. Let's see.
Yeah. Oh, goodness. Phil Street, can't wait to read this. Just read the first chapter preview in Highlights magazine, and I want more. Oh, thank you. I'm glad it left you wanting more.
Let me hold on 1 second. 1 second. Gary.
Yes.
All right. I'm sure Otaku will be here, so I'm gonna start the chat. So, man, first of all, what made you do this? What made you do this? Huh?
I've always wrote short stories, but I really love horror, and with this kind of stuff, I grew up on things like Species with Natasha Henstridge, Aliens. Clive Barker was one of my main reads, and he wrote with no fear. I said this on DJ Lynx's show last night. He was just an author that wrote with no fear. So if I was going to write something, I was going to write it the way I wanted to, and I've always wanted to write a monster story, and Alexis becomes a monster, but the other part of it just became a necessity because of how she becomes what she is and what she needs to continue developing what she is. And I also grew up in the 80s. You know, you're watching movies like Emmanuel with Sylvia Crystal and stuff like that, where erotica wasn't such a taboo thing. You know what I mean? It was just everywhere.
Oh, I remember Emmanuel, the Rated R show.
There was the old Emmanuel movies with Sylvia Crystal. Then there was the Emmanuel in Space show that had Krista Allen in it.
Oh yeah, I remember those shows. I remember those shows.
But I
I
mean
mean,
that kind of stuff was all over the place. Like you couldn't avoid it, and it was just normal. It was everywhere.
let me go ahead, Gary. I misstep here because my otaku brother is not here. But
Oh,
I'm going to just say hi to the chat first. Okay.
absolutely.
And look, of course, look, Chris he's always there. First time from the New Mexico.
Hello, James,
Comic of the voice, my
Steve,
fellow the Katat.
Kevin. Kevin just read it today.
Haven't read it today. All right. Hey, hello, Jerry,
Jerry the Jitterbug. Nice to see you, buddy.
Kevin, Phil. Have you read it?
He just read the first chapter preview.
Hey, Roger. Roger is he's a too good of a.
Oh, yeah. He says, "Bummer. I'll catch you next time."
Roger is too good of a guy to read this kind of. Uh, hey, CJ, what's up?
How you doing, Nick?
Jay the Jitterbug again, Manrock, Bummer.
Oh, he's talking about him and Jerry missing meeting up. Okay.
I see. Oh, I
What's
see.
up, Katie? Hey, can I do a shout out real quick?
Sure.
I put a shout out video up. Katie's almost to 400 subscribers. We got to get her to 400.
Oh yeah, I saw that video. Katie needs to get to the 400, so please. Anybody has my wrench? Anybody has a wrench that could give Katie a link? No, nobody has a Katie link.
Yeah, Katie should be at way over 400. She's criminally undersubbed.
Let me see if I could provide a rent for Katie. Have a link. Katie.
CJ's gonna link her.
Okay, all right.
Thank you, CJ.
Thank you, CJ. Alex, how are you, Alex? All right. So now I have to learn about this blue wrench. Yeah, me too. I normally I have Otaku Hyung take care of the interview, then I take care of the chat. But anyway, so now I wanted to say this is I'm supposed to tell you what I feel about this book, right?
Sure.
I wanted to say remind me of a little bit of a what do you call it? The horror, one of those Halloween horror movies. The Halloween.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but you reversed it a little bit, and a penthouse on a steroid.
Well, I think yeah, it's got a little bit of like all my influences in it, right? Like it's definitely got a John Carpenter influence. It's got a little bit of a Clive Barker, a little bit of John Carp, a little bit of Aliens, a little bit of Species, a little bit of everything.
Species. Okay, I remember that. Okay, that's Species. Okay, yeah,
Yeah, with Natasha Henstridge.
yeah. Now it's really hard. I have a. You say you have one boy, right? 15-year-old boy.
Yes.
I have a
13.
I have a what? A 32-year-old girl. No, she's 26, and I have 32-year-old boy, 31-year-old boy. So I have two boys. Now, if I wrote something like this and published it, I'd be a little embarrassed, Gary. But when you show I mean, you're being very brave, and I think you probably have inspired us. You brought a whole bunch of us out here. What do you think you brought us out of?
Well, it's just that was a story that came out, right? Because when I start writing, I had a basic premise with Alexis, and she was this person that's been abused at the beginning. By the end, she's in a different place. I don't want to give anything out, but for that journey to happen, you start writing the character. And I said this the other night is when I start writing a story, I do it freehand first because that helps me get the feel of the characters. So I'll probably do like the first 7-8 pages by hand, and then I transfer them over to the laptop. And even as I'm transferring them to the laptop, there's changes I'm making, and then I write the rest of it on the laptop. But the character starts writing itself. So pretty soon, I know how she's going to react to any situation I'm putting her in, and it's going to be genuinely her. And if I write something that's not right, I can instantly feel that's not how that character would act. And the things that are in this book, I try to write it in a balance. The situations that are explicit, they're there for a reason. They serve the story. It's not just gratuitous. It's part of the journey that she's going on, and there's a specific need for it.
So you didn't have to bring out any of. So you don't have a problem showing this to your children?
My kid, he can't read it. I'm not going to let him read it.
Okay.
He knows I put a book out. I'm not going to lie to my kid.
Because this brings out a lot of things that I did wrong when I was a kid. I mean, not wrong, but
well, she's a villain, Naman. But hopefully you're empathizing with the villain.
Well, actually, I wasn't really. She did have a little soft moments, right? She did have a little.
Right, because you're supposed to feel you're supposed to root for her, but all the time knowing that she's wrong too for what she's doing.
Yeah, but she also have influence.
Yeah, Jackson, it's not a comic. It's a short novel. It's a short story, 38 pages.
But it will put a lot of images into your head. Even though it's not a comic, it will put a lot of images into your head. Oh, talk about images. Tell us about this artist that's in here.
All right, so the cover artist is Danny Fisher, and I met him through the guy that wrote my foreword, Mikhail Galloway. And Mikhail and I have been friends for a while. So he's GeekSpot82 on YouTube, and I had found his channel when I was on YouTube. He had found mine. We started having conversations on Instagram and realized we both lived in Rochester. We both went to the same comic shop and had never run into each other. So we fixed that. We met each other. We became really good friends. So before I published this, Naman. Yes, Roger. Before I published this, I sent it out to a bunch of members in the community and also to Mikhail, and so I had people like Pocan Joe and Comic Journey and a few others that were test reading it and giving me feedback on things I should fix. And I had some people here locally doing it too, like Dan Can from Out of the Panel Comics, Mikhail. And then he suggested that he showed me some of the art that Danny had done for him. He suggested I send the story. He asked if he could send the story to Danny. And I said, of course, send it away to him. Let him read it. Because I had briefly met Danny through YouTube like us now. And he was a good guy. He has a great YouTube channel. So if you guys don't know Danny, he's at Drawing Conversation on YouTube and at Drawing Conversation on Instagram. Check him out. You'll love his stuff. But he read it, and then he told me he wanted to do the cover. I said, okay, great. I go, just let me know how much. And he wouldn't take money. He wanted just to do the cover of it. So I want to make sure he always gets his props because he spent a lot of time. Does
he have a YouTube channel or the Instagram?
Yeah, at Drawing Conversation.
Is that IG?
Yep, both of them are the same. And what he does on YouTube is he'll pick a character, he'll make a comic cover, but while he's doing it and doing the art, he'll tell you the whole history of the character, and he narrates it, and it's really cool. So at Drawing Conversation.
Let me go ahead and type that in. I want to put on a brand banners.
I don't know if there's anyone that could put the link in the chat for you, but great guy. And
is it a
thank you, Roger. Roger just put the link in there. And Mikhail Galloway, who wrote the foreword, he was one of the first people that read it. And like him, Pocan Joe, CJ, and Danny, those four were integral into me getting this out there because just those four alone were giving me the confidence I needed to push forward with it. They all read it. They all said I needed to publish it. They all said it needed to find an audience. And it was scary putting something out because with this particular story, all that sex stuff is called for, but that puts some people off, and it's, and you never know how someone's going to judge you when you're putting something you wrote out there.
Thanks, Roger. All right. What is the guy who had a fantastic introduction of yourself here? Hello, Finnish followers.
Thank you, More Life and Travel. Yeah, that's GeekSpot. That's Mikhail. Good dude. And an ex-Marine. So, well, you're never an ex, but a retired Marine.
Does he have a website as well? I mean, a link as well?
Yeah, he's GeekSpot82 on YouTube and on Instagram.
I think it's amazing that, it does make me, I'm really nervous. I'm afraid my kids will see this video. Because it reminds me of a lot of things I did, like when I was a little boy, all those dirty magazines. I climbed at the tree house.
Thank you, Kevin. Yeah, it's not that bad now, but Otaku can't join us.
Oh, okay. Sorry, Otaku. All right. I mean, don't you have that experience? I mean, like I think I shared. My dad had a dirty magazine under his bed, right? And one of the things I enjoyed, even though I didn't read well, picture was okay, but the reading, I love reading those kind of stories. But I always thought those things are getting, I mean, got a little too old. I mean, it got repetitious. You know, it just.
Right.
And if I ran into something like this, I think oh my gosh.
Well, hopefully you find that there's a balance in there because everyone I've spoke to says it's balanced well, and I've asked, it's only in there when I feel it's necessary and when I feel it furthers what's going on.
Yeah. I mean, there's a well, the thing about it is that I don't like violence. I don't like the like when I watch Friday the 13th and when they get these beautiful ladies get ambushed by bad guys and stuff. I feel sorry for the. I mean, I go, don't kill the boob. But in this one, it's happening in reverse, and you always have the boob there. So.
Well, I mean, she's always evolving, and she's got reasons. Like, hopefully, you're empathizing with her. She's got reasons that she's acting out and doing the things she's doing, and so does the thing that she's bonded with.
Right. So, I mean, there's a
because I mean she has a definite arc. You get an explanation of her history and a little bit of why she's the way she is now, and why it's a no-brainer for her when she just accepts the bonding.
hello, sleepy book reader. There's a sleepy. Okay. He's on his other account. Lady F. Not many is sensitive.
All these people who don't watch horror, but they just read my horror book.
Yeah, because the other part made up for it.
Well, you see, I mean, the violence isn't over the top though. It's just there when it's serving the story.
Like even though violence is there, like for instance, Kill Bill. I enjoy that all that violence, even though I don't enjoy that kind of violence normally, because it's sort of.
Oh, he's not making me sweat, Jackson.
He's sort of what do you call it? Gary's making me sweat.
Yeah, I'm relaxed.
It's sort of
the hard part's over. I got it out there.
I mean, the violence is it's I don't know. It just doesn't. When I watch Kill Bill, right? I know all the gratuitous violence is there, but I sort of laugh it off, right? It's almost comedy like.
Right.
This is like a comedy to me too, as well. The violence that's in here feel comedy to me. I don't know if I'm supposed to feel it
that way.
It's not
gratuitous. It's just on her way to where she's going.
Right. So,
like when it happens, I'm not going into like messy, descriptive, bloody details or anything. You just know what happened.
Right.
And and it's from her perspective, so you weren't going to linger on those scenes. She's already moving on to the next thing.
All right, let me see. 823 March. Oh, that reminds me. Warm logic of violence. if it's comedy, like if it's just too much violence, I just know it. Like all these red, I just imagine as a ketchup.
Well, the red's on the cover purposely because red sells covers better.
Oh, does it? Okay. You told the artist that?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. That, by the way, 23 reminds me. You know what I'm gonna? You okay with everybody doing fan art on this one, right?
Yeah. I want people to have fun with it. I know I own it.
So I'm gonna let's have a fan art contest, Gary.
You can. You gotta invite Adrian because he wants to draw it as well.
Yeah, so I'm gonna. I mean, there's a whole bunch of artists in here, I think. So let's have a fan art contest, You could be the judge.
Damien, I think he's too flustered to ask me those questions.
Have you asked Gary about his influencers?
I think Nama's just been blushing the whole time. You should have brought CJ. You should have brought CJ in to help you.
I'm turning orange. I'm so embarrassed. You know what? That's a good idea. I'm going to invite CJ. CJ, will you come up?
And then also like Evil Mike did a live reading on his channel today, and Lady Fantastic and Cliff are going to do a reading of it. So like this has been accepted in such a gracious way. Like I've been completely humbled by how accepting everybody's been of it. They are just embracing it. They're running with it. Everyone's having a good time with it, and everyone's had really kind things to say. So it's just been really way above what I ever expected for it.
Now, if I were to write a book like this, right? How would I go about doing it myself?
How do you mean?
I mean, you published those.
Like, yes, you mean like how did I publish it?
Yeah.
So there's an easy way to self-publish. That's on Amazon KDP program. And you just go to KDP and it walks you through the steps. It tells you how you need to format your script. Like it tells you like you have to use like Times New Roman 13, and it tells you, it gives you all the parameters to set up your word, and then you set it up there, and then it has a cover creator, and you put your image in the cover creator, and it helps you format it so it fits, so there's no bleed over, so you're not missing part of it. If there's a problem with it, they'll let you know so you can fix it, or you can pick from a bunch of public domain images to help put your cover together. It's the actual process of publishing it isn't hard. It's just having an idea and creating a story.
And who does the editing?
Damien's got some advice for you. He says you have to first decide how you're going to describe your erections. Thank you, Damien. We just need to keep making Naman's face red the whole time.
By the way, this is adult only videos. If you are any of my children or my student at church, get out.
But no, it's fun, and it's finally sold enough copies where it's showing up in searches, so it's not like a task to find it anymore. And like and the other night on TM Nerdy, they talked about it, and you saw a little taste of Lady Fantastic and Cliff reading some sections from it. And it's funny because the parts I thought people were going to be uncomfortable with, those are all the parts that people are reading. So
I need to tune into Mike's channel.
You have a virtual proofread preview, Roger. So it says preview and you read it virtually right there. You can, like, I ordered author copies, but I just get them at the cost to print them in the shipping.
So let's say was it $6 for the book?
$6.99 for the paper, $2.99 for the Kindle.
So how much you get for each one of those as you sell them?
Well, not a lot. So if it's the paper one, I get $1.80, a little over, and for the digital, about $1.
I mean, eventually this could be a what do you call it? Not residual income, but what do you call it? Where you don't.
No, that's you're right. It's residual income where it just keeps earning and you keep getting checks. Not at all, Lady Fantastic. Thanks, though. And I tried to keep. I mean, it's only a 38-page story. I wasn't going to charge a lot of money for it, you know.
Yeah, but that's not bad actually.
Amazon does a good job printing them, and they look fine.
And then they print locally too, don't they?
Well, I wish, because literally everyone on the internet has a physical copy of it, and I don't. Mine aren't coming till between the 13th and 18th. So I got delayed, and I wrote the damn thing. Everyone else has got theirs instantly, it seems.
What the fuck, Worm? You don't ask people how much they make. You don't ask them how much they make on their freaking book.
Why not?
It's none of your business.
This is my show, bud.
What are you freaking Inspector Cujo? And you're freaking gonna find out all the details? Is that what you're doing?
Yeah, I want to be able to write books like Gary.
Thanks, Roger. Well, he's been too embarrassed to ask any questions, really, though, CJ.
I find it hilarious. You become a hotshot author. Everybody wants you on their freaking channel now to do interviews. Where were they when I was interviewing you on my channel?
Right. And I'm not a hot shot. That's an over exaggeration. I'm a flickering flame, and I'm gonna be passed by in a minute.
Listen, you're not only a hot shot after this book, you're a coochie magnet. So listen. All right. So let's not be modest over here.
So I got to go by Gary B, the casual coochie magnet now.
That's right.
What do you mean? How much do I make? Why do you need to know how much I make? This is my show, bud.
See what you started? Now everybody wants to know what you make.
Well, and the only reason I'm saying it is just so people know that this isn't something you get rich off just because you put a story out. You know what I mean? This is just something like I personally wanted to accomplish this year, and I got it done sooner than I thought I would.
You have a sequel in mind?
Huh?
Yeah, I mean, is it going to continue to go? Is it going to? Because
that particular story, no, it's a one-off.
Oh, really? One shot? That's it?
Because I'm writing another horror story right now called Vera the Vile, and and you'll be disappointed, and there's no sex in it because it's not called for. The character doesn't.
Okay, I'm not buying.
There's nothing in it that requires it. This story is different because it required it. It's only there because it's required.
I see a perfect page right here in the back of the book, nice and blank, where I could draw a nice image of Alexis squashing and strangling the worm. I think that would make a really, really great image.
Oh, I think you should do that. Make him really uncomfortable.
Oh yeah.
Wait.
Oh, he's gonna love it.
No. I think there's a scene. I think there's a scene where she's squirting out a bunch of worms out there too. So.
The tendrils.
So Gary, where are you in sales right now? Have you passed 200 yet?
No, I'm just a little over 100, but I'm really happy with that. It's a good start.
Do you have a goal in mind? Do you have something like that you like? Everybody has a goal. Like, is there something that if you hit, you say, you know what? I feel very accomplished doing this.
Yeah. I already do it. I'll tell you why. I'm sorry. I wasn't laughing at you, CJ. I was laughing at Jackson Roykirk's comment that my next horror book will be called My Saturday Night with Nauman.
I have to apologize about my voice, by the way. I just took Mucinex. I'm freaking sick as a dog. I'm freaking sick of this dog.
My goal was to have people read it and enjoy it, and it's already happening. Like, it's already blown me away. And I was telling Nauman backstage that how much this thing has been embraced by the community. Like you saw DJ and Mark just
you're so fucking modest
and run with
it.
You're
so fucking modest. Come on, there's got to be a goal. You got to be selfish a little bit.
Oh no, my goal is I'd like my ultimate goal is I'd like to see it get noticed by an independent comic company and have them option it for a comic.
Well, that would be wonderful.
I would like this, like I think it would do well at Distillery in their oversized magazine format.
I will tell you something. You accomplish that. I will draw you a variant cover specific for you.
I will take that. But I mean, I would love to see like Distillery, like this is going to like right now. I can't even believe how everyone's embracing it, right? Because you've had multiple people read passages on their lives. Evil Mike did a live read today. You're gonna have Lady Fantastic Caroline and Cliff live read it, and everyone's been talking about it. And I did not picture this at all. I pictured releasing it. Probably sell 20-25 copies in the first month, and and that was done in the first hour of release.
Would you? And
I was just like, holy cow! And it's selling in the UK, it's selling in Australia. And that's another reason I wanted to go the Amazon route. Is I have instant global distribution.
Right.
Would you like me to read a quick excerpt?
That's up to you
on the show. Would you like that? Worm, would you like that?
Only if you promise to make the worm squirm.
keep
Oh,
Gary
absolutely.
busy so that I could draw my fan art. Okay.
You got more boobs. We need more boobs.
I got more boobs coming. I got more boobs
All right,
coming.
yeah, we know that. The word like boobs. All right, let me find a page. Let me see here. Let me find a random page that. Okay, now let's do this. Okay, see, I just did it live. It's a random page. I picked out a page. We're gonna read it. We're gonna read an excerpt out of here, and I'm gonna read it in a very classy voice. Okay.
Uh-oh. Can we have some ladies?
It's
come
not.
up here?
It's only gonna be a teaser. It's not gonna be the whole book. You have to pay to get the whole book. But I'm gonna read a little teaser,
Little
just to tell you what-
tantalizer.
so you could get to see what. Let me see. Is this a good one? Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if there's anything pervy on this one, but we'll read a little excerpt. All right. Let me drink a little water so I can clear my voice.
No, and yeah, and I think there's a good horror story in this book. I mean, at least I've been getting the feedback. I felt confident putting it out.
Oh yeah, it's a great combination. No, listen, it's not like you're reading a porno. Yeah, listen, there's pornographic shit in there, but it's not a porno. It's like an action porno. It's good.
Nick,
All right, you ready? I just drank my
I'm
water.
already
Yes.
wiggling. I'm already wiggling.
We just cleared my throat. Let me put the light on here so I could see because I'm going blind. I'm getting older and going blind. All right. Okay. I like the fact that you made big font on here. This is good. This is like my children's books that had the big letters. I could read better. Okay. Okay. All right. She started a hot shower, tracing her fingers over no longer existing scars inside and out. The jaw had clicked since being broke by an angry ex-lover, was now strong and straight. He had hit her and had failed to come during sex. He failed. That's not good. Blaming her for his own inadequacies. And there were more from other relationships. A cut on her hip after barely avoiding being stabbed. The dull ache of broken ribs after being kicked and beaten.
What are you
And
doing? Dracula, or are you doing Dracula?
Do I interrupt you when you're reading?
No. I'm just wondering. What were you doing? What voice?
I'm reading it in a very classy voice, and I'm trying to give it.
It sounds like a
Let me
Dracula.
start all over again.
Dracula.
All right. Let's start the sentence over again. And there were more from other relationships. A cut on her hip and barely avoiding being stabbed. The dull ache of broken ribs after being kicked and beaten. And a myriad of emotional scars from being told she was worthless and a whore. Okay. Right. So if you guys like that kind of reading, I can read this entire book in that same accent, or I could pick out another accent. Maybe we'll do British. I don't know. I'll take suggestions. So if people like the way I just read that passage, I could read the whole thing on a live stream, but I'll only do it if Gary gets to 500 books. Once he gets to 500 books, I'll do it.
I did want to, if I could, I wanted to read just the intro for people so they kind of know how it starts, right?
Wait, you didn't give me like praise on how well I read it.
you drawed it. You drawn it out.
I did pretty good. I think I'm a good reader.
So, Need by Gary Baker. All right. Alexis wiped a hand across her sweat-drenched forehead. The fire blazed through the toy factory, and a blare of the alarms echoed through her panicked thoughts as she tried to make sense of what was happening. Seconds ago, an explosion tore through the small factory, interrupting her routine at the assembly line where her quick, nimble fingers checked the dolls for defects before heading on the packaging. The blast, immediate and fierce, ripped through the assembly room in a flash of heat and pressure. The aftermath left overturned equipment and melted plastic dolls everywhere. Alexis grunted as she gasped for the air that burned her lungs with each inhalation. Pieces of
According
sanity.
to airnow.gov.
Oh, ha!
Who the hell's
Alexis, because I said Alexis, and it goes to the Alexa,
Shut up, Alexa.
right?
He's reading.
So she grunted as she gasped for the air that burned her lungs with each inhalation. Pieces of sanity broke through as she took in her surroundings. One of her arms was caught under the overturned metal belt, pulped in a mass of blood and flesh. I don't want to die, she said, her voice cracking like dry, dead leaves. Alexis was stuck, pinned by the... No, go away, Alexis. She was stuck, pinned by the heavy machinery, and the slow realization of impending death crept across her flame-blistering face. What was left to do but die before the shock wore off and the pain overwhelmed her, leading to a slow, torturous death? Cries reached out for help, for comfort and reassurance, but her voice would not join the chorus. Weak and raw, it rattled, and the fire-heated breaths she had already taken were rushing her toward darkness. She felt the icy fingers of death squeezing her lungs and heart, even through the searing air. Hot tears streaked from the corners of her eyes as she began to give up. A minute passed in slow, ebbing pain as her vision narrowed and the blackness of oblivion closed about its edges. A foot away from her, she found her last focal point. The head of an Emma doll, its plastic raven locks already melted, and one side of its tiny Clementine-sized head melted until a nickel's worth of space had opened. So.
You stick to writing, I'll do the reading.
Man, I had no idea that name Alexis was going to be so problematic with
You read it too fast. What are you, Micro Machine Man?
That's how I read.
We want to hear like the passion. You know, like
I don't know, man. I don't think I want to hear your passion, though.
Yes, passion. Alexis wipe the hand across like that. You know, like
She's so passionate, even Kool-Aid Man couldn't take it.
that's right. You stay still. Listen, a lot of people been campaigning, trying to use my Kool-Aid. I'm gonna get you guys. Not this is not the platform to talk about that, but you'll see next Insomnia. Anyway,
so did you guys have any other questions about it though, or?
Absolutely. Well, we're gonna just talk about how you made the worm blush.
I mean,
Is that what we're gonna do?
no, it's sort of.
So first of all, you did this.
It made me braver. You know what I mean? It made me braver because Gary's
All right.
out there, putting himself out there like this. It's just, you know, I always had this idea that whatever you write should be, whatever you draw, whatever you write, whatever you sing about, should be left to creator, right? And I always have this, you know, the timid editor in me that says, "Hey, you can do that. You cannot do that. You're not a decent person if you do that, things like that." But when Gary did this, even though it was erotic and all that, it felt, even though it was violent and all that, it felt innocent to me because I knew who Gary was, right? So it just inspiration for me. So,
well, it's writing. It's fiction. It's not like he really did this shit in his real life and he wrote the autobiography. All right, so you know.
I mean, but it is something that's in you.
He's using his imagination. You know, the imagination. That's how. Yeah, lady, you don't want me reading. Well, actually, you know what? If everybody get if we could get Gary to at least 500 sales of this book, I'll even do it in a Greek accent if you want. I could do a very good, like a good hero salesman.
Yeah, that'll take a long time to hit 500.
Why? You don't know the power of persuasion. You know that people are gonna like this. They're gonna buy it.
Hey, I'm just happy that the communities liked it and embraced it. It was more than I expected. You know what I mean?
Well, here's the thing. I just gave them an extra thing. They want to hear my voice, and it's like reading and narrating to them. I usually take $5,000 per page that I narrate. I'm going to do this for free to the community. So, how you call it? They're going to want to see this happen. So the sales are going to happen. Trust me. And that being said, let me ask you something. You went through the whole process through Amazon on this, right?
Correct.
And you have done other books in the past under other pen names.
Yes.
In the past. All through Amazon, right?
Yes.
Never through the conventional publishing type of format.
No, because it's just too expensive for me.
So guide us through. Excuse me. I told you I'm sick. So guide us through your whole journey. Pun intended. Your whole journey of going through the Amazon publishing process, and how easy it was or how difficult it was. Like, did you have any challenges? Was it streamlined? How? Tell us. You don't have to give us details, but give us like like from beginning to end how the whole process worked for you.
Well, I mean, I've always wanted to write first off because I've always read. When you always read, you always have an imagination, and you always have your own ideas. So I always wanted to create my own stories. It was always in there. Never really had an avenue to, and if you wanted to, and I looked into submitting to magazines and like Asimov and the science fiction, those little ones you see in Barnes and Noble.
Yeah.
But a lot of those, if you're going to submit a story, it's $250 up front just to submit. Amazon. And that's with them probably telling you, no, we're good. Thanks.
You're talking about with the regular publishers or with Amazon? Okay.
It costs a lot of money to submit.
Wow, really?
Understood. So how does it work with Amazon? You like call them up? Amazon, I like to publish a book. Like, how does it work?
So, since Amazon's been around, I've been a customer, but then I saw this KDP thing. So I looked into it, and where you can self-publish through KDP. So I Googled it. I looked it up. I read about it on Amazon. It's all detailed there. It has step-by-step instructions on how to format your text, how to format your cover. It walks you through everything. Now, what I'm and for different kinds of books, I'm doing the most basic kind of book, right? It's just text. But if you're doing like a manual, if you're doing like something for children's where images are, there's walkthrough guides for all of that on Amazon.
Like an illustrated children's book or something like that.
So there's guides for all of that. And it just takes you and all you do is you just, all right. So I open Word. It says I need to have this much of an indent. I need to have this set at 0. I need to have this set at 0.3. I need to have this font. You just set it all up. You save it. And every time you type, it's just exactly how it needs to be. So then when you're submitting it for review, it goes through an editor, and the editor will highlight any misspellings you have for the most part. So it does a lot of that for you. There's obviously things, it's a computer, it's a program. There's obviously things it's going to miss, but that's why you vet it out to other people. Because it's not going to tell you if it's written in a good rhythmic style. It's not going to tell you if it has good pacing. It's not going to tell you critical things you need to know. And that's where having people you can trust that'll tell you the truth, you need them to vet it out to. So they read it and they don't blow fluff at you and say, oh, yeah, no, it's good, man. You're doing. They need to give you honest feedback so you can make some. Because if I'm going to charge somebody money, I want to make sure I'm giving them the best thing I can give them that I'm capable of.
Yeah, you're proud. You want people to get their money's worth as far as them feeling.
Right, I want to put out something I think is quality.
Yeah, but like let's pause just for 1 second. While you're going through this whole process of the editing and all that, did they give you any like bylaws that you have to comply by? Like, did they tell you can't write about this, you can't write about that, you can't write about this, you can't put these kind of images? Like, are there anything like
there's
restrictions?
What they do have is advertising restrictions. Because this book has erotica in it, I can't run an advertising campaign for it. So what I have to do is word of mouth, like I did on Instagram. Understood. So I made that little short clip, and I said this on in the mix last night. That little clip I put out, the hand opening and it reveals the cover. I did that to force myself to publish it because I was delaying at that point because I had finished the script. I had did all the spell checks and I knew it was ready. I just had to be ready. And I had to force myself to be ready. Because I'm like, once I put this out there, it's out there. And people are going to think, some people may look at me differently. Some people may, for better or worse, it can go either way. But it's definitely going to, as soon as it's out there, the perspective of who I am is going to be changed in people's eyes.
did you feel stressed during this whole process, or did you feel that, I'm writing, I'm doing the best I can?
I
I'm
felt
gonna
stressed
choose-
because now I have a public image.
Okay.
So that means if there's someone out there that doesn't like you, they're gonna latch onto it.
They
And
got
try
you.
to bomb
Well,
it.
listen, you fucked up. Look what you did.
I know.
put your face right there.
Gary. As
So
a,
there's no walking back from this. You're gonna own this now.
and let me
So
put some
good thing it's a
let me
good book.
put some my interviews in there, bud. Now, Gary, when people go out there and do a review on your book, I noticed that some on Amazon, for instance, you could make a video on it and stuff. Can we do that?
Yep, you can do a video, you can do pictures, and I do need reviews on there because that helps the book get noticed in the search engine. So if anyone's read it, whether you like it or don't like it, just leave an honest review. I'm not asking you to lie about your experience with the read. Just go to Amazon, leave a review, an honest review. Whether you think it's 5 stars, 3 stars, or 1 star, it doesn't matter. Go leave a review, and that helps it get searched more. That helps it turn up in the searches more.
Yeah, I
Reviews are
appreciate that,
super
Gary,
super
because-
important.
I appreciate that because Gary, my friend wrote a book. He wrote a novel actually, and he asked me to write a review.
This is not about your friend. This is about Gary.
Hold on, Jesus, let me.
Oh, I'm just saying.
So I wrote a review in there, and I put a lengthy review on there, but they want to give you the stars, right? And I never like giving 5 stars on any books, right?
Even if it's your friend,
He's my friend. I didn't want to give 5 stars.
you're an asshole. You give your friend 5 stars. What the hell?
I just don't give 5 stars.
That's horrible.
But I appreciate Gary not forcing me to put a 5-star out there. He said,
Well, 'cause I want honest reviews. I don't want dishonest reviews. Don't help me develop.
So if you know when your rating goes out to 4.8, you know who's the reason for that 0.8 and not the 5.
I mean, I'm really happy that I've got 4 or 5-star reviews on there right now. I'm happy people are enjoying it that much. But yeah, and that was the nerve-wracking thing, CJ, because like I said, and Naman, I have a public face, like a whole public face that publishing before was easy because who the fuck knows who I am? I'm nobody, right? And I'm still nobody. I'm just nobody with a public face now. So if you have haters, they're going to gravitate there so they can bomb it. But then I'm in a community that's so supportive that the opposite has happened. I've had a few people that I thought were going to promote me and help me that have ghosted me completely, that I thought were really close. And they haven't even, they haven't shared one thing. I had people I didn't even know in this community right now that are sharing it, sending me messages that they ordered it. Just all these new people that were I didn't even know were even watching and that are supportive. And it's been fantastic.
So see,
Let's talk
here's
about that
my
for a
problem with giving 5-star right off the bat. This is his
You're
first
probably
book.
you're all grump. That's the problem.
No, hold on. If I give him 5-star now, and he write, because when you write something else, you normally get better, right? How am I going to give him a better score next time?
This is how you do it better. You put 2 thumbs up in your comments. That's how you do it better. Don't give him the 2 thumbs up now. You just put the 5 stars. You write a nice little, I enjoyed it. And then if he writes a better one, then you write 5 stars and then 2 thumbs up, like your Siskel and Ebert.
Naman, just write an honest review.
Thank you. See, that's what I wanted to hear. That's what I wanted to hear.
I am not
my
asking
friend
or
wanted 5
encouraging.
stars. And
Yeah, I'm not asking or encouraging anybody to lie. I just put what you honestly think in the review.
No, listen, honestly, if it was a terrible book, I would kindly refrain from putting a review.
Well, you would have told me that before I published it too,
Yeah.
CJ.
Yeah,
You
I
said,
would,
Gary, what are you thinking? Bury this in the backyard. Don't ever look at it again.
what I'm saying is that my 4-star it means I really enjoyed the book, but a 5-star is like this is just perfect.
So how many are you gonna
Nothing
give him?
Can get better.
how many stars are you going to give him? Tell him now to his face. How many are you going to give him?
I'm going to give him 4 stars.
Can't you give 4.5?
No, there's only 4 and 5.
That's horrible, man. You're gonna drop his freaking reviews.
It's good. No, if it's all 5 stars, that looks suspicious too.
All right, so like we'll add the worm to make it look like it's kosher.
And you're always going to get a review that bombs you. That's just going to happen. There's going to be someone that reads your stuff and hates it, regardless of what it is, because they pick the genre and it doesn't really gel with them. There's always going to be that, and it's not like they're,
I can't wait.
It is what it is.
I can't wait for the day when I publish something and I get all the haters come out and they bomb me. Oh, I will embrace the hate like nobody else. You have no idea. Like I cherish the bad reviews. So you're gonna have fun with those as far as the rebuttals.
I got a question for you. I asked this question last night because it's important to me. How did you guys find the balance between all the elements? Did you think it was a well-balanced read, or did you think one thing overshadowed the other?
Okay, so you want to go first, the worm, and then I'll tell him.
Yeah, I don't like horror stories. Okay, right off the bat, I don't like horror. I don't like horror stories to begin with. I even when Brandon, when I bought those Brandon books, he had those horror things in there, and I go, okay, this is ketchup. I'm gonna give this copy to Otaku or whatever. But the rest of the story made me overcome those horror things that I didn't like. So, I mean,
well, it's got a healthy sci-fi element in it too.
Yeah, it has a sci-fi element. It has that, those worm things coming out of, that. I mean, it's gross kind of stuff. There's some gross things in there, and like remember when she had an accident at the beginning?
Yep.
And that was like, I don't like, yeah. But that tells you the better writer you are, the more you're gonna gross me out. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and things got to happen to your character, else there's no story.
Yeah. So, I mean, so that's not necessarily a bad thing when you gross me out on these things, right? Because you are describing it so that
Effectively.
Yeah, effectively. That's why I'm grossed out. If I don't get grossed out, then you're not writing a horror story.
Jackson.
But overall, I enjoyed the book. I really enjoyed the book, and yeah, I think if I enjoyed the horror story more, then I think it would have been well balanced.
Nice.
So was it or was it not well balanced?
Because I didn't enjoy the horror story, I'd rather have more porn in there.
You prefer the porn. All right, I got you.
More Life of Travel. If I ever write a book and you don't give me 5 stars, I'm coming after you.
Leave this fucking guy. Oh man. I can't wait to meet up with you coming to New York again, Naman?
Yeah, in a few days.
All right, you
got. And there's things I did in that story too, which I don't think people realized I did. And I'm going to ask you guys this question too. One of the things I purposely did.
I didn't answer your last question.
All right, go ahead. Then I'll go with this one.
I have to tell you the balance question first.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
What, you think this is the 1011 and you're running the interview? No, my friend. This is the
I run
show.
Everything, CJ.
No. This doesn't work this way.
Go ahead, buddy.
All right. So, all right, let's get to the. First of all, what the fuck is this button that just jumped up on my screen? Stream this to your audience. What does that mean?
It means you can share Naman's stream on your channel.
No, I don't want to do that. I don't. This is his show. I'm not going to take his audience away because they're going to all come to me and then he's going to cry. All right. So, as far as the balancing is concerned, I'm going to be really honest. I don't have a lot of experience reading horror erotica in that form. I've read a couple things and I've seen a few movies and I've seen I've read a couple of comics like that kind of thing. but I do read a lot of horror, and I do watch a lot of porn. So I think I'm a really qualified person to be able to give you a firm idea of how I feel about this. I feel that overall you have a very good feel from beginning to end throughout the book. You're very consistent. There's no breaks. I like that it's boom, 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 boom kind of action throughout the whole read. It's no like it's a short story. It shouldn't have long pauses and
Right.
dead time. It needs to be boom, 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 all bullet points. It feels like almost like. Did you actually write this in the back of your mind of getting this possibly looked at as far as a screenplay or something like that down the line? Because I almost have that feeling.
I didn't. I think that's just the way I write.
It just worked that way. Okay, so I do have that feel as I'm reading it that the way it's written is a very easy read for somebody that's looking for ideas for screenplays.
Good. Let's find those people and give it to them.
It does work very well that way.
Gary, what do you think? You think it will work with the comic book?
Because I read it myself and I thought and like you, CJ, I thought it read cinematically. But when you're reading your own stuff, you're not the best judge of that. You know what I mean? You're too close to it. You can't make that distinction really.
Of course, you definitely it's hard for you to remove yourself from it and look at it objectively.
Because
It's
literally, when I put this out, I'm like, all right, 90% of people are going to hate it, and I'll have 10% people that like it.
now I'll tell you something. The cover threw me off a little bit because when I first read this, and by the way, I'm more of a paper reader than a screen reader. So
Right.
when I was reading it from the PDFs that you had sent me originally, I struggled like going through the whole thing because of my vision issues with the screen. I read through this in literally less than a half an hour. It took me like 3 hours, and I had to go back and read it again in the PDF. So like with the screen. So I really like recommend getting it in a paper form over the PDF form. It's an easy read, and I like the font and everything that it has in there. But the cover itself actually threw me off a little bit when I first saw it, because when I read it without having a visual to it, I expected something much darker. This has a little bit more of a illustrated feel to it, like a more simplistic feel. Like I was visioning something dark, very
Right.
dark.
And that works too, because
Did you have a hand in the purples and the reds and anything like that? I know that you said
I wanted a cover that would immediately catch the eyes, and the red does that.
and people do like purple.
Yeah, so I mean, it makes for an eye-catching cover, but in the book, she's a little, once she turns, she's a little darker, more scaly, more lizard-like.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was like. I was kind of visioning something like that, like something like, she like, you look at her, and you like, if she didn't have that layer of things on her, she could have been hot, but she's got that on her, so she's freaking me out.
Well, she's supposed to be a little horrific at that point.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. She looks hot with wings.
Yeah.
I
So
would
that's
like
why
I would
I was
like to see
thinking
this in
darker.
comic book. What about you guys?
What's that?
I'd like to see this in comic book. What about you guys?
I would love to see it too. Either that, I would, or you know what, I would like to see this done as first, and I think this would be a great idea for Gary to turn this into a storyboard, almost like how you set it up for. Because we were just talking about possibly having a pitch or something like that for a screenplay.
Yeah, I wouldn't even begin to know how to do that.
Oh, we'll talk offline. I'll show you how to do that. It's super easy. They even sell books like sketch pads that have your story about layouts already set up, where it's 3 blocks with the writing on the bottom, the whole 9. Super easy. Definitely is built. It's built for that kind of a thing.
Now
and the balance is there as far as giving you a nice balance of horror and porn. It definitely works out.
Now there's things I purposely left out of that that leave purposeful questions, and there's things I left out of that story that I purposely didn't describe because I wanted people to fill it in themselves. And I was curious how people fill it, like with Alexis herself. I never ever call out what her ethnicity is or her skin tone is. That way, whoever's reading it, they assign it themselves.
So what did you have in mind when you
When I wrote her, in my mind, she was Hispanic.
Oh,
You know what? That does make sense to me.
But in other people's minds, she's something different. You know, I've had a few people say, "Oh, I pictured her this way." I'm like, "That's the point. That's why I didn't put it in there," because I think it personalizes the story for who's reading it a little more. If they can imagine, because if you picture your own person in there, that's a character you're going to be more involved with.
I could even think Middle Eastern.
I'm
The
gonna
only
give one book
descriptive I
away.
gave her was dark hair and blue eyes.
I'll give one book away, guys.
Oh, we're done with the interview?
Oh no, go ahead and talk. I'm gonna send
And
it out.
then I purposely,
Five
like
books to give away, so
in John Carpenter fashion, left the original creature vague.
And that's the best way. You leave a little bit for imagination. It really makes a lot of sense doing that.
Steve, Comics of the Voice, he pictured her as a black woman. Everyone pictures her different, and that's why I left it like that.
I could actually picture a Middle Eastern. Like I get that vibe going on.
She can be anything.
You know, but I could definitely get the South American vibe as well going on. Almost like a Brazilian, maybe even
Gary,
Haitian.
gonna sign this. Gary, you gonna sign this?
Well, no, you have it. It's at your house.
It's my house. I'm not gonna get them to sign this.
Will you sign it for them, Naman?
No.
Well, maybe they want a worm signature. I don't know.
Let me see. Hold on. Let me see.
Can you forge Gary's signature?
There's a
And tell
two
me
pages there.
it's a specialized worm forge.
I mean, Gary, you gonna go to any kind of con anytime soon?
No, man, I work full time. I take care of a kid. Any extra time I have is writing or on YouTube or reading.
Mm,
I don't have any. I can't afford to travel.
shoot.
Well,
how are we gonna
I'll
get
tell
it?
you something. You might be better off because every time I go somewhere, I spend money and I come back. I'm like, what the fuck? So you might be better
Well, that's
off.
okay. I don't have it to spend, so that makes it easy for me.
Well, then
so
I cry that I don't have money to buy other things when I get back. So or stuff I need. I'm like, oh shit! I fucking.
You know,
wasted my
I'd
money.
love to meet everybody. It's just not an option for me.
At one point. Listen, sooner or later we're gonna get together. We're in New York, so we're gonna find a way to
Right.
connect. We're gonna find a way.
Yeah, we're feasible.
I'm thinking about making a trip towards Niagara. This is my plan because I've never been to Niagara, so I want to take a trip towards Niagara. And you're on the way towards Niagara, so I'm like, I will make a point of making the rest stop, finding Gary B, the casual comic guy. Maybe we'll have a casual meal, and then I'll continue going on to Niagara.
So if I
So
send
what
it,
Jackson Roykirk said, if anybody actually mails me their copy, I will sign it for free. I'm not a big name person. I will sign anything for free. It
if
doesn't
I
matter.
said I mailed all these books to you, then you can sign it and send it in one package.
Because everybody asked if I was going to charge their signatures. I'm like, what are you talking about? I'm nobody. I'm not going to charge. You bought the book. That's all I cared about.
I
If
really
anyone
love
wants
the
me
fact.
to sign anything, I will sign it.
I
You could
really
send
like the
copies
size.
to Gary in self-addressed stamp envelope. Okay.
I really like the size of it. Like, it's not that much smaller than like a comic book. Like
Someone made the point too that you could send it to CGC.
yeah, that's what that was not mine because mine is gonna be like full of smoke and wrinkles and who knows what else because I've been
But
reading
I
it.
might send one out just so I have one of my own things encased.
That's not a bad idea. That's not bad. Take a nice clean one.
You make the trip up. I'll sign your cast, buddy.
I was even thinking, you know what, it might be a good idea since EGS does those gimmick covers. It might be a cool thing to actually make a gimmick cover with the need on it and all that stuff, just to have it graded with like your own stuff on there.
Well, what I'd love to see too is and Naman was already mentioned it, but I had already thought about it. I'd love to see all the artists on YouTube like have like a big sketch show and everyone draws their interpretation of Alexis.
Well, you know, mine's gonna be gruesome.
It's okay. It's a gruesome story.
Mine's going to be very provocative. How's that?
What do you think? We do a Insomniac night draw of a need.
Let's have a contest. We need a judge. We need a judge.
Well, what are you gonna give out?
About original art.
All right. So the winner gets all the original art.
Yeah, how's that?
That'd be a freaking great prize. Imagine if we get like 10 people drawing at the same time and the winner gets all the pieces. That'd be pretty
Well,
cool.
you have to convince everybody to give up their art first, which is I think is tough.
Well, yeah.
Well, hold on.
We could shame them into doing it.
I mean, winner gets something. Winner gets something, but then the chat room has to get something.
That's a pretty good prize. Or I could read. I could read them in my Bela Lugosi voice.
No.
We could do that. I could give them a private reading.
I mean, you just made the sexy story horrible. I mean, come on, dude.
It's a fantastic read.
Now, CJ, and I need to ask because I tried to write her like so. When I'm writing her, and it's a villain story, right? And my whole thing with her is I wanted to make her like good villains, where you're empathetic with them, where you're kind of rooting for them, even though you know they're doing the wrong thing. Were you guys rooting for her at all? Were you feeling bad for her, or did you just like, oh, I can't stand this character. I know she's bad. I don't think she was really evil until she, changed.
Personally, I look at all the women like devils, so she fits right into my mold.
How about a review on Amazon, guys?
So
I don't know about getting this signed because I don't know. I have to send the book to Gary, then Gary has to send it back, and then I have to send it to you guys.
Well, if someone that wins it wants to send it to me, they can reach out and get my address, and I will sign it and send it back to them.
Okay, sounds good. All right.
Yeah, keep it less complicated. Review on Amazon. You could have picked a smaller hashtag, a larger one.
Well, I just want to make sure everybody take the book and review it on Amazon.
You could have put like worm need or something like that. That would have been a better hashtag. Review on Amazon.
Hashtag thank you for everyone supporting.
How about you? Hashtag I will review less than a 5.0 on Amazon for Gary B because I'm the worm. How about that? Make that your hashtag.
Look, too many people are after me because I'm doing 4.0 on Gary's book.
You could be smart about it. I said it.
Alex is after me now. Alex is like, you.
By the way, Gary, can you see who writes the reviews for you and puts the stars in for you?
Yeah, because I'm going in there now to because thank you, Caroline. She said she left a review, so I was just logging in now to see her review.
Need a 5-star review.
So he can't even hide unless he goes under alias.
And what thing is, her review might be posted right now. It might not, because when you post a review on Amazon, it goes through the review goes through a review process.
Amazon will distinguish you from a person who bought the book and a person who didn't buy the book.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
Yep, Caroline's is on there. Action-packed tale that tingles the senses, and then she put in the message, "Screw Nauman." No, she didn't. She put Alexis gets her needs met. No, said hashtag Nectar.
She give you 5 stars. She give you 5 stars.
She did. Thank you, Caroline.
Okay.
But I know Caroline legitimately loved it, so I know she legitimately enjoyed it.
I mean, I don't even give a Stephen King 5 stars, man.
Oh, Jackson Roykirk's got a good one there.
Screw down.
Screw that. I like that one too. Holy shit, this guy.
I know he's like
Okay.
making people really work for it. There's like people sweating at the keyboard right now.
This guy's hard to impress, man.
It's a good thing I wrote it. I don't have to do this.
So let me ask you something. What will it take to get a 5-star review out of you? Does like the artist or the writer have to like die and that like be their last work?
Okay, here let me tell you what happened to my friend. I give him a 4-star, right? Because that's all I could give him, right?
And he's not your friend anymore.
Because like, so he advertised on his Facebook like, "Hey, this guy give me 5-star. I'm thankful and all that. Hey, this guy give me 5-star." He would write all this stuff, and I would never get mentioned because I'll give a 4-star on this. So,
Why? I think 4-star reviews are good reviews.
Well, it's better than a 2-star review.
So he wrote a second book, and then I explained in the review, I don't give people 5-star, but I wanted to give my friend better than 4-star last time. So
You wrote that you were giving a review for your friend on the review?
yeah.
Oh, don't do that. That's like the worst. People are not going to code your review as credible.
But I give him a 4-star, dude. I didn't give him a 5-star.
Yeah, but you don't have to say I did it because it's my friend. Like I could imagine the people read it's his friend, and he gives us a 4-star review on top of it. What the hell?
No. I didn't say friend. I say I give him a 4-star last time, but because I enjoyed the second book, and I think it is improvement of the first book. I want to give him a 4.5 for the 2 books total, but I'm going to give him 5 stars so that they average out to be a 4.5 between the 2 books.
So Jackson,
and then
Mom is
he
giving away a
put
copy
on
of the
Facebook,
book.
I got 5 stars from Mom.
All right. We got insanity going on with this. Gary, tell me, what's the next move for you after this book right now?
What's what?
You're gonna let this sink in for a few weeks, I'm sure. Like absorb it, enjoy the success of it. But are you on to your next project already?
I'm 8 pages into the next one.
And what's the genre?
It's horror, like sci-fi horror. It has to do with it's a little bit more in the Savage wheelhouse.
More barbarian style stuff?
Well, no, more of an untamed world.
Okay.
From a world that was tamed. So it's a little dystopian, a little apocalyptic. And it has to do with so the end was coming. All these people are getting ready for the rapture. All the religious fanatics are outside waiting for the end. The rapture is coming. All the people that don't believe are in the buildings, in the houses. Things have been going on in the world. All these ruptures and raptures open around the world, but it's not what they think. Instead, it's this other dimension that is purging itself of its monsters and its demons, and they're coming through the world and they're just tearing everyone apart. And it goes but the book begins in this world before she's thinking back on how it happened. There's this woman at the river and she's washing her dead child's blood off her hands because her child was just murdered.
Do you think that's going to be a short story format as well, or
I don't know? It'll let me know as I'm writing it.
You're going to let the pen dictate?
I always let the story dictate itself. That I don't I have an idea about where it's going to end, but the journey from the beginning to the end can veer quite a bit.
So let me ask you a question. What exactly defines and what is the breaking point between what is considered to be a short story and a normal novel-sized story?
I think a normal novel-sized story is considered at minimum like 130 pages up.
130 and up.
I think I'm not an expert. I don't know. But, that's what we have Google for.
Yeah, Google, get to work.
Hey,
Answer
Google, what is considered a novel-length story?
I think this is considered a short story.
This is definitely a short story, but I'm not sure where that breaking point is between.
So Average novel word count is 50 to 110,000 words.
How many? 50?
Yep. 50 to 110,000 is the average novel.
50,000.
50,000. Yep.
Okay. Do you have aspirations of writing longer form type of books?
I do eventually, but it's got to be the right thing that moves me to do it. Like I don't want to force something to be long because then I think you're going to screw it up. If I'm writing something and the story's drawn to a natural close, I'm going to close it.
What about serials? Do you have any intents of doing that kind of stuff?
I thought about that with the one I'm writing now because there's something called Kindle Vella, and that's serialized. So it's like 20 pages at a time, or like 15 pages at a time, and it leaves on a cliffhanger. You have to buy the next one that comes out, then you buy the next one until the whole story is complete. And I've thought about that.
So I don't think I've heard anybody ask you this so far. Are you enjoying yourself?
Immensely. Like I said, this community has literally blown me away with how much they've accepted this story, how much they've embraced it. I mean, just about everyone's talking about it. It's being shared everywhere. You had Jose Spidey's Powdered Tumblers reached out to me and asked me if he can make a tumbler and give away a copy. I'm like, yeah, go for it. And he did that. He did that this morning. He gave away a tumbler that he made. I'm like, I already had somebody make merchandise of it and send it out. Just
really?
craziness.
What kind of merch is going on other than tumblers?
Oh no, he just made a tumbler. But now, I mean, if somebody wants it, I told him he could do it. He asked me, and I gave him permission.
And I'm just gonna put this out there because I don't know if people realize this. The book itself, I believe, is $6.99 online, right?
Yes, for the paper,
the hard copy. So they do have the option for people that don't want to spend the $7 to get it. It's free shipping, by the way. I got this $6.99 free shipping. That's pretty damn cheap.
That's for Prime members.
Well, I'm a Prime member. You should be a Prime member too.
I am a Prime member.
Yeah, if you're using Amazon, you should be a Prime member. If you're not, then you're gonna have to pay shipping. So yeah.
Also, if you belong in what do you call it? If you belong in the Readers Club, I forgot the name of the. Anyway, it's free for the
Kindle Unlimited.
Kindle.
Yeah,
for Kindle it's $2.99. If you have a Kindle Unlimited subscription, it's a free read, and every so many pages read, I get paid.
Well, that's what I was about to say. Like that's something everybody like. If you're interested in supporting Gary, and you don't really want to spend the money, but you already have a Prime account, and you want to get a PDF to support him, grab it. You can read it from there. It's part of your Prime account. You don't have to pay extra. It's already paid for, and it'll do wonders for him as far as being able to elevate his status as far as the downloads and the purchases made, and the other thing is it will elevate him in the algorithm. So it's everybody could do their own part, and I'm not going to ever shame anybody for doing or not doing anything. But if it's something as simple as doing that, do it. Why not? I'm sure Gary would do it for you.
All right, so I have a 5 entry. I have 5 entries.
How many people are watching?
Who are those 5 guys that?
Wait, who?
Well, because there's a lot of them that already have copies. CJ, they're trying not to take from people who don't have copies.
Who's in the chat right now? How many people you have in the chat?
No, but I have 5 books. I could just give it to 5 people. He said
you could.
Yeah. So I have 5 entries, and if there are 5 people, only 5 people need it, then I could send it to each one of you guys who have entered.
And if you get it and read it, please leave a review.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, we still have one dangling giveaway that is yet to be given from the previous stream that we had a couple of days ago on the Insomniac. The hashtag is at the end of the video towards the 5 minute and 5 hour.
Yeah, you got to put it in the regular comments.
Yeah, you got to put it in the regular comments. Otherwise, it doesn't count.
I was watching live and you were saying that, and everyone they weren't listening. They just kept putting it in your regular chat. Well, I'm like, he said the regular comments.
Well, I'm gonna make a video very soon.
Figure out who entered this because you were through. So, and whoever wins, I'll put a little sketch in for you. But the rest of you is just gonna get the book. How's that? So let's see.
So one
Listen, you're
person
the
gets
boss.
the
This is
sketch
your
out.
channel.
So I'm gonna go ahead and roll it. There's 5
Hey,
people.
And by the way, Gary, don't worry. I'm going to make a video to tell everybody they're morons for not doing it the right way soon to drop that so they could actually properly put it in there. Because the only one that's going to win right now is the scoop.
Alex, you get
Thank
the
you.
book. Congrats. And you get my little sketch on I'll try to make a little sketch of the Alex, can I draw dirty?
Just as long as it's got big boobs. Everybody knows you're in the boobs.
You know, it's funny for a guy that's so much about boobs. He got like he was like almost not talking at the beginning of this interview because he couldn't
He's
get
full of
past his,
shit.
blushing.
He's acting all bashful. You got to see this guy in real life. He's got a dirty, dirty mind.
Let me put this down. Oh, so I think I got everybody in there. Let me see. I think
And More Life and Travel says yes, dirty drawing.
Wait, did you ask Gary if he gives a senior discount on these books? No.
it's already pretty cheap to begin
You got to
with.
take that up with Amazon. So the thing is with that too, CJ, you set your, as an author, you can set your own price.
So whoever
Oh, is that true?
won the book,
Yeah, I made the prices for my book.
IG me. I know Alex, but everybody else, IG me, please.
Tell us a little bit more about that as far as
So
that
after you set it up, you go to a page which says pricing, and it lists all the regions, like the countries like Germany,
Hey,
Japan,
Bigger Jam.
Australia, all of them, UK. It lists all of the regions, and you put the price in for the region you're in, and then it calculates what the price is in all those other regions, and it breaks it down. It tells you how much you make per what your price is in each one, and it shows you what it costs in each one. So like when I log on, I can check the book, and like I can log on now and go to the UK site for it and check it. I just have a button. Like I go to my KDP login. My
and what helps you come to that determination as far as what the accurate number to put on there is, besides whatever profit is? Like,
well,
do you look at competing other books.
I looked at other books that were what their prices were, and then I had an idea what I wanted. I'm like, well, it's a short story. It's under 40. I'm not, I hate when I get it like. So I bought two comics. They're $13 each, and they're really good. But are they really worth $13? No. But so mine's 38 pages. I wanted it to be affordable. I wanted to be able to get it in the people's hands. And I also wanted people to feel like they're getting their money's worth and they're not being taken for a ride. So let's see.
Makes absolute sense.
So can you guys see this at all?
You want to make it
You
big?
see how it lists all the different countries there that it's available?
No, but you want to make it big?
So right here it has all the. I hit a button, and it has all the countries listed right there on the tab. You see it?
So you're completely international. There's no country that you're.
Oh no, I'm sure there's. Right now it says U.S., UK, Denmark, France, Spain,
What about Russia?
Italy.
Are you allowed to send to Russia?
It doesn't look like it's on here.
I'm just curious because Russia's been banned on like most of them. That's why I'm asking.
It's not Canada, Japan, Seoul, Australia. But once I hit that, like I got my little thing here, and I can go to reports and it'll like show me stuff. But so
it gives you a full breakdown.
Yeah, if I want to go to the UK and see what UK says, see how it looks on the UK site, then it just shows me what it looks like on the UK Amazon.
Cool.
So if I go to Japan or something, it's all in foreign language, and I can just hit translate if I want. But I just like being able to, and you see it has like the prices for over there.
Do you worry about the translation?
I mean,
You worry
confirm this
about the
product,
translation
Jerry.
being right?
Since I'm not a buyer on Amazon, can I review?
Yes, you can. It just won't say verified purchase.
Okay, right. Yeah, it just won't confirm purchase. Okay.
Everybody can review. It will help. And so give me an idea, Gary. You get down, you have an idea in your mind. Guide us through your writing process.
Well, I knew I wanted to write a horror, and I'll have a character pop into my head.
Okay.
So like when Vera popped into my head, I already had a kind of an idea who she was.
Vera.
And I knew what I wanted to write with her, right? I didn't want to write a teenage warrior that's just learning. I wanted someone that's already been through a bunch of shit. She's already mad, and she's got to set out to be a hero against what her thought processes are.
Now, are you writing notes, bullet points? What are you doing? Like, I'm actually more curious as far as your actual writing process. I get the whole idea of like how you come up with the idea. I mean, it's imagination. It's your imagination. But as far as like, you get the pen, you get the paper. Where do you go from that point?
I make little notes. So I'll have a pad, and I'll just, when something comes to me about the character, like if I'm stuck, it'll keep working in my mind. And whenever I have anything that inspires me, I'll write it down.
Do you have a draft of the book for this book that you could show us?
No, not on paper, because it's all in the computer.
Oh, I see.
So you carry a pad with you everywhere you go.
Well, I always have a pen and paper with me somewhere.
Okay. And do you like go pen and paper, or do you actually type the straight typing?
If I have an idea, I'll handwrite out the draft. It'll be like a page or two.
Okay.
And that'll be like a loose Bible. Like this is who the character is. This is the journey I want them to go on. This is where it should end. But the things that are happening in between are fluid. It changes with the character, because some things I may write down at the beginning aren't going to be true for that character anymore. That's not how they would react, because the character kind of ends up deciding themselves who they are. That's just how it is for me when I write.
Well, because you're the writer. You're the god of that world. You're the one that's creating and disassembling things as you're going. So
right, but the characters take on their own voices, and if like, all right, I can't put them in that situation anymore, because that's not how they would react.
Makes a lot of sense.
Because they go against your plans sometimes, because they become their own little people in your head, and they're alive.
So you, from what it sounds like, you really have a traditional old school approach of how to write do all your writing. Because every single person that I know that's been around the block a couple of times, that's how they write. You hear some of the newer generations, the millennials plus, Gen Zers, those kind of writers, they go straight they're using the voice to text translation. They're going straight to typewriting. I freaking dated myself. Straight to keyboard. It seems like I like the way you go about doing it, because that's the way my brain operates, and I could actually gravitate to that style. And I'm sure the Namen works that way.
Like I said, usually I'll write the first 7 or 8 pages by hand, because that gives me the feel for the character and really cements me with them in the story and what I'm going for. Like I just started putting Vera the Vile into Word, but I have the first 8 pages of it handwritten out.
Did you say who edited this for you?
Huh?
Did you say who edited this for you besides yourself?
I edited it, but that's after I got advice from other people I sent it out to. Like, Gary, this part you made a mistake here. You made a mistake. So it was editing by committee.
Oh, was it? Oh, okay. So who are those people that you? Who are those people? You gonna name them? Can you name them?
Oh, I did earlier. CJ was one of them. CJ and Pocan Joe were the first. CJ, Pocan Joe, Stephanie, and and Annette, who you guys don't know. They were the first ones to get copies and read it and give me feedback.
Oh,
They were the first four. Then my buddy Mikhail, then Danny, and also, well, before them even, Dan Can from Out of the Panel Comics, who's a big supporter of the channel and someone I became really close friends with here in Rochester. So these are people whose opinions I could give this to them and they wouldn't blow smoke. They would just tell me, look, this part's good. This part needs work. This is misspelled. This is the wrong tense. You know, stuff like that. Stuff you need to know and hear, because I could read that script and you do. When you're writing, you probably read what you wrote hundreds of times. You're going over it. You're trying to find mistakes. You're trying to fix things. And it doesn't matter how much, if that mistake's right there. I'm so close to it. I've read it so many times. My brain automatically fills in the right thing, and I'm missing the wrong thing that's on there.
so would you
It's
recommend
like when
that
somebody
to-
puts two thes in a sentence, right? Like we went out to have right? We went out to have lunch with Jim. When people read that sentence, they're going to read, "We went out to have lunch. We went out to have a lunch with Jim." Their brain automatically omits that other word, the extra.
Yeah, I do that quite a bit. I mean, that's why my grammar sucks.
So you always need different eyes on what you're doing, because otherwise it's going to be riddled with mistakes that you're too close to it to see.
Hey, Matt.
He also knows that we won't give him 4 stars. That's the other reason. But I call it. I actually got a loaded chain of questions for you, Gary.
Sure.
First question: Do you have any intentions of going hardcover on this at any point? Second question: you do have multiple other books floating around that are under that other alias. And do you want to actually put that out there for people to be able to pick up your previous works?
You know, I let that out in an Instagram chat, and the sales on those have all sold like a couple hundred copies, but they're only 99 cents each and $2.99 for the compilation.
Well, even bigger reason why people might pick them up. So
yeah.
that's the other question. And the third question I have: do you have any intentions of collecting all of your short stories together and bounding them all in one book?
Yes. So I want to write a bunch of short horror stories, and then I want to make a compiled edition, like an anthology book of them.
So what is the number of stories you want to get to before you do that?
I would think 5.
5. Okay. I think you're right there, right? How many
5
stories do
with
you have? 3 or 4 stories do you have floating
No,
around right
the
now?
other ones aren't horror.
They're not horror. Okay. They're pure erotica.
Yes, because so I started writing that, and because I figured that would be the easiest genre to see if there was a voice, if people liked my voice. I'm like, well, if you screw up writing sex, then you probably shouldn't be writing. So I wrote a bunch of that to see if there was a voice, if I had a voice that people responded to in a writing style. And it turned out they did really well. And obviously didn't make a bunch of money, and because I just sold them cheap. But I got good reviews, and they were pop. And like just this week, I sold 10 copies of one that, you know, they just go in spurts.
Okay, let me ask you about those. Now that I'm pressured, now that I'm the evil guy in the community, because I'm going to give you a 4-star. Now, those other books, what's the total grade on? What's the total grade on your?
Most of them. There's a lot of 5-star reviews. There's 4 stars. There's 3 stars. There's a few people that read it and go, "Oh, this is garbage." They put 1 star. It depends. It's all over the place.
No, but it doesn't. Don't you have average score on those books right now?
Yeah, my average score is like over 4.
Okay.
And don't forget, those are pure erotica. You know, people are very sensitive about their porn as far as how they want it read.
I will show you the cover of the compilation if you want to hold on 1 second. If you
Sure,
want.
I would love to see it.
All right.
And I want to get those, by the way. And I'm going to just leave you a whole bunch of 4 stars.
Yeah, because it's important for people to know about his previous work and be able to, like, make some kind of connection.
So they're all erotica?
That's what he says. They're all erotica. I didn't realize they were all only erotica.
So what Gary said was interesting. If you cannot write a porn story, then you shouldn't write at all.
If you can't write a porn story, you shouldn't write at all.
Yeah.
No, I wrote that because I figured it would be the easiest genre
Right.
for me to see if somebody liked the way I wrote, the way I dictated stories, the way I set up stories, the way I built characters. Because
Well,
I
it's
did,
hard.
I didn't
That's
just
actually a hard write.
because and that's why I chose that field, because if I can make you give a crap about the characters in a pure sex story, then at least I know I can write some characters.
You know, it's not, you know, it's a lot easier to write about like an action hero that goes and kicks ass and beats up aliens and kills monsters and then bangs women. It's easier to write that than to actually write a actual like erotic novel where you get like women all like hot and bothered with it. You know what I'm saying? Like it's not easy.
Steve, I want a bunch of people to do a live reading of it. Let's have a bunch of live readings of it out there.
I should do. I would love to hear Steve's voice on this.
I will do one as soon as we hit the goal I put out there.
So, I mean, should I even reveal this on Naman's channel?
Go ahead.
Is it gonna make you blush?
Nah. You already know I've written this kind of stuff. What am I going to blush? Naman's going to blush.
Oh, all right, then definitely show it.
All right, make me big, Naman. So I wrote five stories at first, and then I had a website contact me, and I wrote a story for a website. That one I just have in a file form. So as I was releasing these stories, I had someone reach out that was a fan, asked me if she could send me her boudoir pics, and she ended up as the cover of the collection. So,
Ooh.
and there you can see my other covers over here on the side, and this compiles 5 stories.
Chase Bonner.
Yeah, it was supposed to be tongue in cheek and funny.
Okay.
Holy shit! You know what? I was looking up because I'm doing like a little video thing, pre-recorded thing. I was looking for covers and like for things with erotica. That actually came up in my Google search
Because it did really well.
That's awesome, man. That's really, really awesome. So tell me, like from your first book till now, have you seen like a very?
Where can I get those? Where can I get those?
What?
From Amazon.
Where can I get those books?
Amazon.
Amazon?
This is
Chase Bonner.
This is the only one that has them all in paper, though. It's just one collection. It's only $3.99 for this, though.
Okay.
So have you seen like a distinct progression from one book to the next, from beginning to now? Like, do you have a following, like of people that read that first one that they loved it so much they go into the
I had a following but this is a weird thing to have a following in, because you get all sorts of questions sent to you, you get all sorts of pictures sent to you. It becomes like a nonstop thing.
Was it more trouble than what it was worth? In other words, did you make it sound like that? So the monetary
make me small again, Naman.
So the monetary reward wasn't enough to justify the amount of extra.
No, it was, and I still have drafts of other stories I've started in this in this genre, which I'll probably get to. But I wasn't.
So if you do, will you continue writing those under the same pen name?
Oh yeah,
it would make sense, right?
It'll stay separate.
Yeah.
Is that a stock photo, or is that a model that you took picture of, or what?
Is it a what?
The cover. Is that a stock photo, or
no? This was a fan of my stories, and she sent me her these pictures she had a photographer do of her, and I chose one for the cover.
Wow.
He just told us that. Why don't you listen to him?
I got to check on my kid. I'll be right back.
I didn't hear him. I was looking at the book.
You're not a very good interviewer. You need to listen more carefully.
I didn't hear him, honestly.
Clearly, you didn't hear them. That's why you asked them again.
All right. Thanks, CJ, for embarrass me in front of everybody.
What will you do without me? I'm embarrassing you.
Yeah, you just embarrassed me in front of everybody, telling everybody how horrible interview I am.
I'm trying to make you better interviewer.
Thank you. What pictures?
Chat, don't you think he needs a little bit of help? We're helping him. Why can't we be in comedy? What kind of comedy?
I mean, what would you do without a CJ? Yeah, no.
That's right. What would you do without me?
CJ.
And everybody tells us like Abbott and Costello and stuff like that. I hate that. Are you Abbott or am I Costello?
I'm not a stupid one.
Which one is the stupid one?
What? What?
Hey, Abbott. You're that one. You're the one that goes, hey,
I feel like
Abbott.
CJ's hijacking Nami's interview. Yeah.
You're the one that says, hey, Abbott.
No.
Yeah, you're that one.
No.
I'm not the hey Abbott guy.
But this is really cool. I mean, do you have a porn story you want to tell, CJ?
All right, and so with this too, CJ and Naman, this ended up being really important for me to do because this is how I started finding my voice, and that's like the need wouldn't have existed without this. Because what I did with these is each one of these stories I wrote in a different style, except for the first two, the Alan and Allie adventures. Those two stories I kind of wrote in the same voice, and then each one I presented myself a different challenge and style in writing.
Well, that's why I brought that up because I think it's very important for people to know your whole journey of writing. Do you have any other ones under any other pen pals? Your pen names?
So not that are published anymore. Because I had put the need out first in 2013, but I wasn't happy with the first thing of it, so I only had it out for a little bit, and it was under the pen name Noel Barcroft, and then I removed it.
So basically, when you blow up,
the second
anybody that has a copy of the original Need might have a gold mine in their hands.
No, it was only digital.
Fucking digital.
Costello was dumb one. Okay.
You're Costello.
No, I'm not Costello.
I'm not Costello. You're Costello.
I'm not Costello. I'm not the dumb one.
Gary, you told him he's
I just don't know
Costello.
how to interview. That doesn't mean I'm dumb one.
No, you're Costello. You're the hey Abbott. You're that guy.
Now I want to see Caroline read this and review it.
No, here's what that's what I'm wondering about. I know a lot of guys love the raunchy stuff in here, right?
Well,
do you think of ladies like this?
I know they do because they've all of them that have read it have been really enjoying it.
Well, women are the higher demographic of your readers, right?
No, I didn't, Gore.
Gary, aren't women the higher demographic of your reading audience?
Yes. The Need is kind of changing that, but with the Need, I didn't know how it was going to go because it's a pretty female strong story and men aren't treated very well in it. So I wasn't sure how it was going to.
It did make me think about your fascination with all the strong female characters. I read that book and I go, I wonder what he thinks about Spider-Woman, or I wonder what he thinks about Red Sonja.
Well, it's funny though because people have gravitated to certain for a 38-page story. There's certain elements in the story that people really gravitate to, like Mark and DJ really gravitated towards Martin, and they were like hashtag Team Martin because they're all about Martin in the story. Whereas Lady Fantastic and Mike and Kevin Hulk Collector, they're all and Nick's Kicks and Comics, they're all about the nectar in the story. So it's been funny to see what parts people like over what parts other people like. You know, everyone likes something a little bit more than something else.
I'm glad that Frank got the. I'm glad she didn't kill off the Frank. I'm glad she still have that little bit of a humanity left in her too.
Oh, you mean Martin
for the next book?
Huh?
She's still an evil woman. She's gonna do something really bad off panel. with
No,
her.
no, no. She's gonna be all right. She's gonna be okay with the Frank.
Well, I thought that was important to have Martin not die in that book because I don't want to give shit away, but he's like the one, you know, she can still see good in some men, and Martin's that person.
She'll turn on him. Trust me, she'll turn on him. They all do.
Okay, I mistakenly called it Frank, but I see Martin and Frank as okay. No,
Yeah, how'd you get Frank from Martin?
I don't know. I don't know.
He's reading someone else's book.
And you tell me I'm freaking Costello. The fuck, man.
I thought it was Frank. I swear, I thought it was Frank, and that's why I even used the.
Now let me ask you guys this, because I asked this last night on In the Mix. After this came out, and well, CJ, you read it beforehand. I've always had a different perception of what casual is than other people. Casual to me is just relax, right? Casual's not mild. Casual's not meat. Casual's not mousy. But I think when I released this, I think a lot of people were surprised. DJ and Mark said that they didn't surprise them at all. I think you though were surprised, Naman. I don't think CJ was, but I think you were
Surprised by this?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was surprised. I was. What? I was like, Gary, give me one. I mean,
Well, see, people also associate the word casual with innocence.
yeah.
Like if you're a 50-year-old man, there's nothing you're innocent about.
Absolutely not. Listen. If I have a uncanny ability to hone in on everybody's inner perv. So I knew there was a little bit something going on in you through conversations we had and through subtle little things that you throw out even on your streaming ventures. I could see that there's a little glimmer, a little shine in your eye when you talk about certain things. So I knew that there was that part of you. You could write that stuff.
Yeah.
It's in you.
And CJ, I mean, you and I talk, the ones, the pervs, everyone's got some perv.
Of
The ones you got to
course.
watch about are the ones that hide it and keep it behind closed doors.
Oh, they're the scary ones.
yes.
I'm an upfront perv.
Don't write about me, bud.
Let's call him Worm.
Even the worm, he's a innocent upfront perv.
Thank
Thank you, Steve.
I'll admit this. I'm a perv, okay? I'm a perv, okay?
Well, we know that. You
But
like boobs.
I mean, but I'm what do you call it? Shy perv. I would not want to come out.
You're a shy one.
Now, when you guys read this, did you guys get sucked into the story fairly quickly? Where
I mean, I
all of a
read
sudden
it
you were
like
just done? You're like, oh my gosh, I already read it.
Well, that's what I was talking about before. It's all boom, boom, boom when you're reading it. There's no like real pauses through it, so that's what I enjoy about it. I hate awkward, long passages where I'm just reading. Like I don't need you to describe a single inch of that wall that she might be staring at or whatever the case is. You know what I'm saying? Like some
Right.
novelists decide to like dwell on things. And if there's no reason to do that, I really don't need to. I need to go boom, boom,
Me
boom,
too.
boom. I like that.
Yeah.
And that's what you accomplish with this book. It's a quick, easy read. It's pleasurable. It makes you smile. It makes you like, what the fuck? It gives you all those feelings together. And I like that. I like the giving me the smile and the what the fuck feeling all together while I'm reading the book. And that's actually really good. And I think that's the best way I could describe it.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with this. I agree with. I was surprised how well you wrote, and
And it's funny because that's a weird compliment for me because I feel like I don't write as good as anyone I read. I feel when I'm writing that it's not good enough. Like the whole time,
You
like, it just
you're
doesn't
always
feel
going to be your
good
biggest
enough.
critic.
but I do want more. I do want more of this character, though.
You're always going to be your biggest critic. Just like any writer out there, they're always their biggest critic. Just like any artist out there, you're always your biggest critic. That's how it works.
Right.
So forget about that. If you're not critical of yourself, you didn't accomplish anything.
Alex definitely will give you
Right.
5
Then,
stars.
yeah, then you're just arrogant.
Alex definitely will give you 5 stars.
That's when you lose your edge.
And I'm not trying to be rude, guys. I had to answer a message. It was important.
No
Yeah, it's
problem.
called life. We understand.
Yeah, Conan's going to be public domain. Well, Conan's already public domain overseas. He's just not public domain here in the States.
Hot diggity dog.
That's
Yeah,
why you
brother.
have those god awful Blaze comics that tell the worst Conan adaptations.
What do you think? Once it goes public domain globally, do you think Marvel's going to latch onto it and never give it up again? Like just
Well,
continue
it
their
won't
story?
matter because anyone can write it.
That's true.
But you're going to
they
have the
really-
people who perceive it as there's always going to be the company that writes it that people perceive as a company that should be writing it.
Well, kind of Marvel is the one that has the most work
Yes.
that's been attached to
I would-
Titans
I would
doing
love to
great
see
right now.
Resanya back
They
in-
really are.
I would love to see Red Sonja back in Marvel myself.
I'd like to see Red Sonja and Conan be united for the first time in a long time. They need to be in the same world. The worst thing that ever happened was
Right.
they got
They
separated.
got split.
I don't understand that. There was no reason for it. How'd you
Well,
turn
the
it into
reason, the
freaking
reason they
Conan
got
talk?
split is because Red Sonja, she exists now, is a Roy Thomas and is more of a Roy Thomas creation than so Roy Thomas took Red Sonja of Rogatine, which was spelled differently in the Robert E. Howard story, and he took Dark Agnes of the Chastelon and he combined them to make the Red Sonja in the comics.
Hmm.
So it's kind of a different character. It's not really the Robert E. Howard original. She was in a different time period. She even had a gun.
So Gary, do you have a more erotic story in you, or you think this is? I mean, your next book is going to be just horror, you say, but are there
Yeah,
more
but I mean,
erotic story?
I mean that's a side of me. So there's always going to be that in me. It's not like I wrote that because I only had that in me for one story. If I mean that's something that's a part of me. It always has been. So
Did
I
you
just had
enjoy?
the weirdest thought that went through my head. I started like picturing anime version of this.
I think I think people do is because of the tendrils and stuff.
That's it. That's why that image just went through my head.
Yeah,
I'm
the
just thinking
tentacle
anime
is
and-
like a tentacle porn.
Oh, you got to send it to some pervy Japanese guy now. He might do it. They love that stuff.
Oh, definitely.
Horror usually has some kind of sex. Of course, yeah, that's true.
What's that?
Horror usually has some kind of sex. Do you ever read those?
Well, here's the thing, though. It does, but it's not always called for in it. I didn't want to put it in there unless it was part of the story. It had to be part of the story. It had to be part of the character's development. Like Friday the 13th. Who gives a shit? It doesn't mean anything to the story. That's there for the teenagers in those movies. That's there to get the teenage boy money.
Pushing her descended nipples to his eager mouth and thrust inside the slick wall. This is gold right here. This is gold. You want me to read this in my accent? You want me to read this?
but did you read a lot of erotica?
I know. Gord asked that earlier. I had. It's just. I don't know. I guess it came natural. I watched a lot growing up. I didn't read a lot of it.
Did you watch a lot of porn?
I watched a lot of like Emmanuel. I mean, I'm a
You have any porn
like
story in you?
in Cinemax.
Skinemax.
Cinemax
porn.
was huge when I was a kid.
Yeah.
Cinemax?
Do you remember WHT?
No, I don't even know what that is.
Am I the only guy that remembers WHT was like the other bootleg? It was like the other. It was the competing thing to HBO, and it just died.
Oh, I never heard of it.
I'm like the only guy because my dad was too cheap to get HBO, and he got a bootleg WHT, so we got that.
One of my favorite shows was Dream On, and that had a healthy dose of comedy and sex in it together.
That was good, yeah.
Dream On was a great show. Martin Tupper.
Californication was a little bit like that,
I'm not a David Duchovny fan, so I never watched it.
but it had those vibes towards it.
Yeah.
Emmanuel from Space.
Yep, Krista Allen.
I remember that.
Yep. But do you remember the Sylvia Crystal Emmanuel, the French movies?
I do remember them vaguely. I don't remember watching them for the context though.
No. Well,
Just for
Sylvia
the visual.
Crystal was just beautiful. It was just you watch it for her.
Yeah, I remember seeing them. I remember admiring them. I just don't remember any kind. If you ask me anything about a story plot or anything like that,
No, it's like watching. Well, it's like watching. Exactly, Gore. The original Emmanuel is good, and then of course she was also in one of the original adaptations of Oh my gosh, Lady Chatterley's Lover.
I do remember that.
That one with Sylvia. The one with Sylvia Crystal is
That I do
to
remember.
me the
But that's
gold
like
standard.
but that was like a freaking porno.
Yeah, but it was an accepted one because it was like also
Yeah,
considered.
it was accepted just as much as Caligula was accepted. Remember
Right.
Caligula?
Oh yeah, I've seen Caligula,
What about Alice in
the uncut
Wonderland?
version.
Or
never
Andy
seen her
Warhol's
in there.
Frankenstein. Remember that? Andy Warhol's Frankenstein.
I never saw that one.
Oh my god, you got to see
What about
that.
Alice in Wonderland? That lady. I never see her in any other movie. Alice in Wonderland.
I have not seen it. Oh, but Alice in Borderland. I started watching that.
Alice in Wonderland.
Oh, Wonderland. Wonderlick?
Was it back in 70s? I mean, it was they made a spoof of Alice in Wonderland.
Oh, it was like a porno?
Yeah, like a rated R movie.
Oh no, I don't think I've heard of it.
Now I'm gonna have to watch it.
Was it called Alice in Wonderland or did it have a spoof name?
I think it was called Alice in Wonderland. I'm not sure. I mean, but the actress in there, I thought she was, really cute. She didn't look like any other porn star, but I thought she was really cute. But then I never see her in any other movies. So.
What was that? What was that sci-fi show? Lex?
Oh, Lynx. Wasn't there one thing called
Lex, like LEXX or something? Her name was, or
Don't remember that. You definitely have to put Andy Warhol's Frankenstein on your list. If you can find it. I don't even know if you can find it anymore. It is so bizarro.
well, it's Andy Warhol. I would expect that.
You gotta watch it. Trust me. You're gonna be like, you're gonna get all these. What the fuck? What is going on over here? But I can't stop watching vibes going on with it.
Yeah, there was the 80s were good for that stuff too. Like every Conan the Barbarian knockoff was just like sword women that lose their tops.
Well,
Like you can't grow up in the 80s and not have a pervy side.
yeah. Police
I mean, that
Academy.
was the whole point of the 80s. Everything 80s was pervy.
I remember watching Police Academy when I was like, what, freaking 7? Like, what the hell? What year did that come out? 84, 82?
Police Academy?
Yeah.
That was there was like that, and there was Porky's. Remember that?
Oh, yeah. Porky's. Kentucky Fried Movie.
Yep.
There's a lot of that stuff.
This one right here.
Are you showing us porno? What are you doing?
Yeah. But it was rated X in 1970, but I think it was rated R.
What was the actress's name you were
showing
trying to
us
tell us?
Well,
Are
I
you
don't know
giving
her
him?
name.
Are you giving him like inspiration for his next book? Is that why you brought it out?
Yeah, I want to. Yeah, I want to.
Guys, there's a guy who wrote the foreword. He just popped in, Mikhail Galloway.
Well, congratulations
buddy?
on the brilliant forward, Mikhail.
We had a great talk about you, bud, earlier in the show. Which I messed up and misspelled his name, and I had to fix it. The only thing I messed up, right? I misspelled his name.
Wait, hold on. Adventurous Joe is Mikhail Galloway?
No.
Wait, who is?
that's
Oh,
just-
there he goes. There he goes. I was about to
Yeah,
say.
he's got his own icon. Yep.
You got to highlight the right person, freaking worm. All right. I was about to say.
Yeah, he wrote the foreword. Like I said, when I was talking about him earlier, he's with you, CJ, and with Pocan Joe and with Danny. and with Dan from Out of the Panel Comics. It was you guys that was giving me the feedback that was helping me and giving me the
So this
confidence
guy is
to
a
push through
guy
and get
right
it.
there?
Yep, that's him. And to get it done and get it published.
Honestly, you didn't need any confidence. You knew what you needed to do. You know what I'm saying?
No, that's somebody give
No.
me a link.
You guys helped. You
I
guys
I feel all we did was give you a little bit of validation. You knew what you were doing at that point. You know what I'm saying? And you tweet. I did pick up on some tweaks though. I did pick up some tweaks from the original to this, so I saw that you did tweak a couple of things.
Yeah, I listened. You know, I mean, the advice I was given was good advice.
It's fantastic.
And Mikhail caught one word that was wrong that nobody else caught when he read it.
What, with the typo?
Yeah, I had called someone a captor by accident, and they were actually a captive.
Honestly, I'm the worst at typos. So, as far as proofreading for typos, I'm not.
And I must have read that line a million times and never picked up on it. But that's why it's important to get your stuff out to other people that you can trust and have them give you good feedback, because it only make what you're doing better.
Of course, that makes absolute sense.
Like when you're giving things to people to look at for you, you cannot have an ego about it. It'll cripple you.
Also, do you ever consider like a professional editor?
Huh?
Do you ever consider a professional editor?
Yeah, I just can't afford one. So, I mean, all that stuff. I publish this in the way that I could afford.
Gary, I disagree with your statement about ego, because you have to have a little bit of ego. You have to.
Well, you have to. Well, that's the part where that's ego is knowing that you got something that you think is worth putting out there.
Exactly, because if you don't have the ego, you'll never put it out there. You know, I think a little bit of ego is a good thing. It's a very good thing. That's what helps with your drive, with your motivation, with your direction towards what you want to do.
And I also want to put out, so on my channel, I created a need playlist. So everyone that's like Mike who did live read of the book earlier, that's in the playlist. The DJ Links interview is in the playlist. This interview is going to be in the playlist. Anything that has to do with the TM Nerdy Show, where Caroline and Cliff read passages from the book, that's in the playlist. Any reviews that people put up, it's going to be in the playlist. So there's a whole need playlist. If you guys want to go and see what other people have said about it or watch other interviews, it's all going to be compiled there.
That's a great idea.
I'm going to have to go. I gotta want to finish it a little bit.
So well, that's okay. I mean, we've been going for 2 hours, so
yeah.
I think we've knocked it out.
No, I gotta finish work. I got 2 hours left to do.
Tell the truth to everybody. You have to go pee-pee or poop. That's what it is. That's why you're ending it. This is natural. Everybody has to go through bowel movements.
Look at Jackson. He's taking a slam at Namen too. Like 2 hours. I gotta go read some horror erotica from a guy named Baker with 4-star reviews.
Well, it's your stream to end or begin any way you want. So
anyway, I gotta go. Hey, Gary, thanks for showing up. Sorry for the poor interview. Thanks for saving the days.
Are you out of beer? Is that what the problem is?
What?
Are you out of beer? Is that what the problem is?
No, it's not beer. I got 2 hours left. I got a work that's due by 12 o'clock tonight. So
all right, we're all rooting for you. Get your job done.
I gotta get that done.
All right,
thanks
everybody
for showing up. Appreciate it.
For the world.
A lot of. I mean, I'm sorry that I'm the evil dude.
Not at all. And thank you to the community for embracing this book the way you guys have. Thank you so much. It's been a great success.
Well, yeah, thank you for giving us.
Congratulations again. I mean,
thank you for giving us this pleasurable read.
I mean, I admire what you're doing. So, and I want to be able to do something like this myself, right? So, and I would not mind people giving me 4 stars because I give 4 stars. Anyway, have a good night, guys.
Tell everybody how awesome I am.
CJ was awesome. Thank you, CJ.
Thank you.
And he's not charging me anything, so That's good.
That'll tell how awesome Gary is.
Gary's everybody knows Gary's awesome. Okay. CJ needs a confirmation. Gary doesn't. That's all you guys need to know.
Tell the
CJ
chat how
needs a
awesome they
confirmation.
were.
He's insecure little shit.
Tell the chat how awesome they are and thank them for
All right, thanks, guys.
listening
Good night.
and enduring
Bye.
you. Thank you. Thank you.